Yo, what it do, guys? I am so happy to announce that I got my first ever YouTube comment with someone asking for a little bit of guidance. Now, I may not be an expert. I am no expert in Street Fighter. I am no expert in fighting games, but I am very happy to give the homie Pack Jatterson some assistance. I'll leave the comment right. Looks better over here. Nope, wrong side. Over here. Leave it right here. I'm a beginner player and new to the FGC as a whole, and so this video was very informative on what it's like to be a high-level player and how to focus and improve to obtain an even higher level of play, though most of the terminology and concepts went over my head. He just found out what neutral means, because everybody and most people do typically say just nooch. I was inspired to comment because of your outro. It felt real and genuine. So I was wondering if you would make a beginner's guide or video on what I'd do if I had to start again from what I know now. It'd be really helpful for someone like me who's been placed in Iron 2 and has now climbed to Silver 4 and is interested in learning the key concepts of fighting games. On another note, I'm looking forward to hopefully catching one of your streams sometimes, though. It's difficult for me with the time difference, so I'll be watching a lot of the VODs. Thanks for making this video, and I look forward to more coming soon. Now, Pack Jatterson, I am sorry. That has been 11 days. 11 days. I'm holding myself accountable. 11 days since I got to this. I had to learn that the video doesn't have to be perfect, and I don't need the best webcam. Matter of fact, this is a one take on top of that. But to the point, I just got a couple of homies to give me their opinions and thoughts of what they would do if they were beginner players. I did this for you, Jack Patterson. And hopefully it's very helpful. Let's get into it. And hopefully I can help some of y'all out with some maybe old information, maybe some new information, maybe some new perspective. Let's get it. Let's start mashing some buttons. If you can start all over again with the knowledge you have now as a fighting game player, what was the first thing that you would ask yourself to like relearn? Like if you like Lucan right now, hit up like Lucan from 6-8 years ago. Like what would you be telling yourself? Type shit.
So I guess the question is like, what's the most important thing to learn first? Like with all my wisdom now and knowledge, like what would I learn first?
Yeah.
Well, the most important thing to do is to play the game against people and don't wait. It doesn't matter if you have combos or anything. I would start playing. It's something I initially did when I first started playing. I would play with my friends, you know? We would just play each other. We weren't competitive. We were just having fun. And then we were spending so much time that naturally, you know, YouTube was new at the time. It was 2009, 2008. We'd go watch videos and we would see other players doing like basic combos and we would start learning those combos. So I think the first thing is to play matches. Don't be scared to play. Don't try to wait till you're optimal and knowledgeable to play. Just play the game and then start building after you play. Learn combos first. Basic combos. You don't have to have the most optimal combo. And then second most important thing is to anti-air. That will immediately raise your level. Is to anti-air your opponent. I think those are the first two basic most important things you can learn. Don't worry about spacing or footsies or none of that. Can you hit a combo, a basic combo, and can you anti-air? That is what I would tell myself, and that's kind of how I learned in the past too. When we learned the combo, I would start practicing the combo, and then doing a combo in training mode is different from doing it in a match. In a match, you're gonna be nervous. The situation's not gonna be like in training mode. So not only do you have to do it in training mode, but you have to hit it in the match, and then you have to anti-air your opponent. That's what I would start with. I wouldn't overwhelm the person that's asking this with too much information. Those two things I would tell them.
When the person starts getting used to anti-airing and anti-airing starts getting a little bit more complicated, how would you explain to them, because this is something that I struggled with, how do you explain to them to make space for anti-airing? What are some spaces you would suggest a beginner to look for anti-airs? Or would you just tell them to focus on reacting for now?
You should get comfortable enough to where you're able to anti-air. You don't have to anti-air 100% of the time because no one does, not even at the highest level, but you should be able, you should anti-air your opponent enough to make them not want to jump. But you're asking about the spacing where you should put yourself. After you reach a certain point, after you beat enough people and you raise your rank, people are not going to be jumping for no reason. You have to give them kind of a reason to jump. Like, oh, am I out poking them on the ground, or am I throwing fireballs at them? If you're just beating them in neutral, yeah, they're gonna try and jump over your button. They're gonna try and jump over your fireball, whatever character you play. So it is dependent on that. Sometimes people do jump for no reason, but yeah, that's a different topic. You need to give your opponent a reason to jump after you reach a certain level.
Word.
You should get comfortable playing different matchups. You don't have to be an expert in the matchup, but you just need to have a basic understanding of what your character does and what your opponent's character does in general, not frame specific stuff, but it's like, okay, this is how this character plays. Anti-air, basic combo, basic matchup, all basics. These all basics. Don't try to be too complex. Just be as basic as possible. Don't worry about whiff punishing in the beginning, because if you start to worry about too many little things, you'll not learn. You need to learn one thing at a time. After you get the basic combo, basic anti-air, basic matchup, like figure out what's the best buttons for your character to use in any situation. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like if I'm playing Ryu, then I know I should be using low forward, or also known as crouch medium kick. I should be using that, and stand medium kick in Street Fighter 6. Low forward, stand medium kick, stand fierce. Those are my 3 buttons with Ryu. And yeah, with these basic things, somebody should be able to get themselves to platinum in Street.
Oh, man, that's really important. If they can't hit you, you're good. You gotta make sure you're in that spacing where you're not gonna get jumped in on, where you can anti-air, and where you can practice anti-air and focus on trying to practice controlling space. If you can't control space, you can't have a basic strategy. People just take space from you.
Which then leads to making like anti-airing easier for like all the new kids, because like one thing that they have issues with.
Just say, just like, don't even think about shit like that. Just wait. It's anti-air.
Word. Would that be all, my brother?
No, man, shit. But for sure, for like the first thing, just trying to slow the game down and space yourself. Try to find your opponent's best poke and try to stay at that range. Problem is when people really start is that they become overwhelmed by too much happening on the screen. So it's hard to see yourself, see the character, and space yourself.
So there's a couple of things that I want to go over for you guys before I leave y'all hanging. If you at the search screen for you really beginner players, I suggest you go to Fighting Ground, and if you go to practice at the bottom, there'll be combo trials. The most common characters for beginners to play at lower elo is apparently Marissa, Ken, Ryu, Cammy. If you're looking for a suggestion from me, I suggest you play Luke over Ryu. So my gauntlet would be Luke, Marissa, Ken, Cammy, not Ryu. I don't suggest anybody play Ryu personally. He's not a bad character. I just think Luke is a lot simpler, and I think his buttons are better, and it makes playing the game a lot easier. I want the game to be easier for you guys when you're getting into it, not harder. If you want 2 suggestions from me as to what characters you should play, honestly, I would suggest anybody who's coming from me and my audience, play Luke or Marissa. If you want to play Ken is completely fine as well. I think just getting into him may take a little bit more finesse. For those of you who are wondering what combo trials is, I'll bring us in right now. All it is just the game sets you up with really basic combos, from really beginner ones to really hard ones, and sort of gets you comfortable with the character. I suggest you go here, especially if you're learning your basic combos. I also suggest that you go look up some videos, like just type in Street Fighter 6 Ken BNB. BNB stands for bread and butter. Or Street Fighter 5 Ken basic combos. Should help you out. Hopefully the videos are nice. If the videos aren't nice, tell me. I'll make a video for you guys to help you guys out. Trust me, I'll make the video, and I make sure I won't be a whole 2 weeks late on making the video. This one should be very simple. I won't get fancy with the editing. I'll make sure to get straight to it. You guys do need that help. But if you don't need that help, then you guys already know what to do. Do your combo trials. Do what you need to do. Get used to your character. Feel the character out. Feel out how combos work together. All that good stuff. So right now I have this recording set up with Jamie using standing medium kick. I want you guys to acknowledge that not all of your opponents are going to be using their best moves. To my knowledge, I didn't do much experimenting, so let's use this as an example for now. Jamie's standing heavy punch is his longest poke for now. That I'm very confident beginners, if you do run into a Jamie, will very likely use. If your opponent never uses stand heavy punch though, I don't want you to focus on spacing stand heavy punch. Focus on spacing what they use the most. Play the match out and just experiment. They use a lot of standing medium kick. Learn to space out the standing medium kick. Understand where you can stand. Understand how quickly maybe you can respond to the button. Understand how much you can walk up after they use the button maybe. And in the meantime, while focusing on spacing out the longest poke, you're just ready to throw out pokes of your own anti-anti-air. Keep it simple. If your opponent doesn't show you something, don't force yourself into thinking it's there. If they don't show you it, it doesn't exist. Same thing applies from this level as a beginner to the highest level. If they don't show you it, it doesn't exist. Keep it simple. They show you medium kick, just space out the medium kick. They don't space out the medium kick, they don't use medium kicks. Maybe they only use jabs. Then learn to space out the jab. That's all you got to focus on. Keep it simple, guys. So something that I wanted you guys to also think about in the meantime is something that I like to call the scrub infinite. So this is really important in my opinion. Maybe some of my friends would disagree. But in addition to basic combos, let's say I'll leave this to my more studious viewers, people who really want to improve themselves. The scrub infinite, what I like to call it, also known as Okizeme, definition up on the screen right here for you guys to read, and link in the description to the website used to get these definitions as well. It's extremely helpful. I suggest you look at it, especially when you get confused as to what someone is saying when you're listening to a tournament or when you listen to me stream or any of your other favorite fighting game streamers say something. Okizeme is extremely important because after your basic combos, some of your special moves give you the ability to dash up afterwards and give you more offensive chances to beat your opponent up. Whether it be you want to throw them, whether it be you want to press a button and punch them in the face even more, right? So right now, I set up Jamie to do a punch on wake up, okay? So I'm going to do a basic combo, jab, jab, tatsu. I'm going to dash immediately after my tatsu, as soon as possible after the tatsu. And then I'm going to hit Jamie with what you would call a meaty. Definition also on the screen. Take your time to read this. Oh, let me fix something. Actually, fun fact, this is accidental. Sometimes your opponent may back roll when you're trying to do your scrub infinite. For now, don't worry if you can't do anything. Just make sure that if they aren't in the space you expect them to be after trying to execute your scrub infinite, keep it simple. Just go back to focusing on spacing. Like Vinny suggested, keep it simple with the basic combos like Lucas suggested, and also your anti-airs. All right, simple spacing. So add your opponent's longest poke that they show you, and just focus on anti-airing. With Ken, I guess it'd be your crouching. Let me fix this. Gonna make him recover in place. Dash up, punch him, boom. The reason he got counter hit is because I set him up to jab, which allows us to do another combo again. And I'm guessing you guys can see how I came up with the name Scrub Infinite, because if your opponent is pressing buttons all day, this is all you have to do. And you're also just getting really nice basic combo practice in, and eventually you'll get really used to doing your basic combos and how they feel. All you're doing is your special move, dashing up, and then pressing a button on wake up, on their wake up specifically. If you want to know how to set this up for yourself, all you have to do is go to wake up reversal in reversal setting, go to common actions. You can either do normal throw or light punch. Those are the two settings I suggest. Anything else, I didn't say it. I think this will really help you guys get used to not only the feeling of what the character's supposed to do when they get these nice combos, these bread and butter combos, but it also gets you used to your basic combos as well, because you're put in a repeat situation where if your opponent is mashing buttons, you get to run your offense all over again. Hopefully this is helpful. Y'all have a nice day, and don't forget, like I always love to say, I don't know why I love saying this, just keep mashing them buttons, bro. Don't mash on wake up though. Don't mash on wake up.
Just a little disclaimer at the end of this video, because you already know I have to drop it almost every single time. Hopefully this video was a little bit helpful to you guys. If it was helpful, please drop a comment below and tell me how it did help. I really mean that. If you feel like you're a little bit confused on some parts, please tell me which parts you were confused on or what you would like some more insight on. If you have any questions whatsoever, just like my first ever Street Fighter 6 video, please ask questions in the comments below. Never be afraid to ask questions. I will always answer the question. I may not answer the question on time. I may not answer it in a YouTube video, but at the very least, I will answer it on stream if you message me. I'll answer it on Twitter if you tweet at me. I'll reply to the best of my ability. I love y'all dearly. I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully it was very helpful. And as always, keep mashing them buttons and never be afraid to ask questions.